Okay. All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez?
Here.
Councilman Cullen?
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart? Here. Councilwoman Hudak? Here. Supervisor Hay?
Here. Notations of exits in the front and the rear, and electronic device, please put it on vibrate. First item on the agenda is a public hearing for historic sites and districts, Triangle House 57.5-3-28-512 Tenette Lake Road. I waive the reading of the public hearing notice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll open the public hearing. Sir, are you here to speak to that?
Yes. That's perfect.
Yes, name for the record too, sir.
Hi, I'm Dean Marco. I'm a member of the Historic Sites Commission, and I'm here to,
Can you speak into the mic or maybe lower it so everyone can hear you?
sure.
Is it on?
I don't know,
Okay.
is it? Okay. I am here to present to you our recommendation that the house at 512 Tenette Lake Road be decommissioned from historic sites based on information that we have surmised. This was a request by the homeowner, and according to the research that we did, it's pretty clear to us that this house is not the Salmon Sanford house, as it has been indicated. And I have some maps here that can explain why we came to that conclusion, if you'd like to see that.
You can press
Sure,
it
you
on,
can
sure.
pass them.
Sure.
How do you think that happened?
We think that most likely the designation occurred in the 70s, and because the Sanford house was described as being within a triangle, and that particular house is the only house in the area within a triangle, and is sort of in the vicinity where the Sanford house was originally located. I think the assumption was that must be the house, but
So what triangle was the house in, and is it that not there now?
we don't believe it exists any longer, and we think that the triangle was actually where.
In front of Brady Standard in the
Yep.
Carvel area?
Yeah,
Brewster
exactly.
Brewster Subaru.
I
Yeah,
can't believe there was ever a house there.
right, in the triangle. Actually, if you.
Is there any pictures in historic records anywhere showing a house in that triangle ever?
There's no pictures, but there are maps that indicate houses there.
Wow. Houses, more than one in that little
Yeah, it
triangle?
looks like there were two.
I hope they didn't count an outhouse as a house, did they?
Well, the roads would have been much narrower.
Right.
Than,
Not that much an hour.
pretty narrow.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, this one shows two. And this was the southeast town center here, and this is a detail of the same map, and you can see that there's the triangle.
It would have been very unusual to, because of the modes of transportation were so different and difficult then, it would have been very unlikely that they would have had to travel that far out of the village, out of the town center for a meeting, so.
And that particular triangle was located in what was called the southeast town center at that time, and was later called Sanford Corners. So
Right.
I think it's safe to assume that that's probably where the house was.
All right. And both Steve Mattson and Jack Duncan, who is a town historian, both concur on this.
Well, the
Take a
fact
look.
that you're here in favor of such, I would not have a problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in the business of delisting houses
No.
from historic sites, as historic sites. I mean, that's, our preference is to, list as many historic homes as possible. So we didn't take this lightly.
Okay, well, we appreciate the research that you did. And you have anything else that you'd like to speak to?
No, I think that's it.
Anyone else from the public to make comment? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Does anyone on the board have questions?
I hope not.
No, I thought I had an email on this. Didn't we receive?
Right, we
it?
did, yeah.
Thank you.
We
Okay,
did.
Yes, we did.
I'll
With the
second
maps and
to
everything.
close.
Right, thank you.
When did it come?
Now, there is a plaque that I saw, I drove by the other day that says, historic site. Is that gonna be removed now, or?
That's a good question. I would assume so.
Okay.
We can talk to Helen, I can talk to Helen about it because she wouldn't want misinformation out there and it does misidentify
I mean, you really
the
can't
house.
see it, there's
Right.
a lot of weeds and stuff, but
Ivy, Bob.
ivy, sorry.
I mean,
Green
it
stuff.
it might be nice to relocate it to
But-
Yeah.
the spot where we actually
Right.
believe the house was.
Yeah.
Because it is a very historically significant house.
Part of the history. Yeah, and the house itself is great, but it's not the right
Right. I'm
location.
fine with it. If you guys are fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn.
No, I think Dean did a great job.
I
It
thought you wanted
was,
town board members to speak.
okay, well, no, I'm just saying, I'm liaison to the Historic Sites Commission. It was a unanimous vote, and I think in this case, we don't want to decommission anything, but in this case, it does appear to be appropriate.
Okay. Anyone else on the board? Okay, motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for the information and coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
Okay, we have one item on the work session, discussion modification of RPTL 467, which is the late senior citizen exemption, something new by the state. And Lori Bell, you're going to give us some information on that?
Hi. As circulated to you guys previously, this is an existing senior citizens exemption, not the enhanced star exemption. And that exemption is available to seniors whose total household income does not exceed $37,400 a year.
How much? I'm sorry.
$37,400.
Okay.
So they have to be 65 first, and then their total household income cannot exceed that amount. So currently, we accept applications for any and all exemptions through March 1st in any given year. The way it has taken place over the years is if a senior citizen, whether it be enhanced or otherwise, files late after March 1st, they need to provide documentation as to why they're filing late. And we generally process late applications up until about the second week in April, at which point I have to deliver my roll to the county for processing for the tentative roll. What this amendment is suggesting and allowing, if passed, is to allow late senior citizens, not the enhanced, senior citizens exemption renewals up to the last day allowable to pay their taxes without penalties, which is September 30th. So what that means is, if somebody has a dire need and it has to be documented, it has to either be a death of a spouse or family member or severe illness documented by a doctor, they would have to apply and document their reason for their late filing, and they would technically have up until September 30th to apply for that exemption. So the final roll would be already finalized. We'd have to file a correction to the final roll. If taxes have not yet been paid, a new tax bill would need to be generated. If taxes were paid, then a refund would have to be, paperwork would have to be submitted for any refund. Now, in the past, we've had very few, if any, seniors needing to renew beyond, say, the second week in April. Most of them are in by the middle of March if they're late. Some of them are just late mailings, what have you. We haven't, to the best of my knowledge, in all the years I've been here, almost 20 years, had anybody need to apply that late. Anybody that's missed their deadline filing has in the past used the grievance process to say, listen, this was why I didn't apply on time, and they do it through the grievance process, and then the Board of Assessment Review can grant the reduction, or the exemption rather. So this just puts that deadline further out to the end of September, when school bills are due without a penalty.
Okay. I mean, the fact that it's very seldom used, okay, is one thing. And doesn't it make the job that much more difficult when it happens?
Well, there would be documentation that would need to be processed, yes. We'd have to correct the final roll. Susan's office would have to either ask the county to regenerate a corrected bill, or if, like I said, if taxes were paid, then paperwork would need to be filed by my office and the owner requesting refund of the difference in what their school bill would have been.
Is that correct?
I spoke to Lori today, and she was really, really helpful. And I think what is key here, I happen to be in favor of this, but I don't want to generate, obviously, more work for you, but I think things happen in life, but I think you should be really commended, because you track people down.
Yes.
To make sure that they do file on time.
Thank you
and
for
they-
reminding me that, yes.
Yeah,
Any
please
senior
tell
that-
people,
whose
'cause-
renewal we don't have in, we can't reach out to people who haven't applied yet in general, obviously, but anybody who has a renewal with us for the previous year, whose paperwork we have not yet received, by about the last week of February, my office has routinely, again, for as long as I've been here, routinely reached out to the seniors to try to track them down, whether it's their phone number, their child's phone number, a neighbor who's helping them. And that's usually how we get everybody in, even if they've, haven't gotten it to us exactly by March 1st.
Do they have to do this every year, by the way?
Yes, because it's income related.
Do you know how many senior we have?
Senior citizens exemptions, not the enhanced star, I have over 700.
700. Now, if all of them decided, I got until September, wouldn't that create a real hardship?
First of all, they couldn't, they would be
no.
denied. It has to, here, let me read you the,
It has to be documented.
has to be documented, I'll give you the
Doctors
exact.
write all kinds of things, just for handicapped folks, trust me.
So it has to be where failure to file a timely application results from either death of the applicant's spouse, child, parent, brother, or sister, or illness of the applicant or the applicant's spouse, child, parent, brother, or sister, which has actually prevented them from filing as certified by a licensed physician. So they can't just say, you know what? I'm gonna file an extension on my tax return, and then I'm gonna file late for my senior citizens renewal. That's not gonna work. It's gotta be documented, that one of those two reasons, and they are dire examples of life's.
And this hasn't happened to you in how many years, really?
I don't think I've ever had anybody need to file beyond the May grievance period that's come in in, say, June, July, or August and said, if they're out of town and they've missed the deadline, or if they just forgot to file, or what have you, the remedy is not there for them. This is only under those dire circumstances, so the answer to your question is no, I don't remember this ever coming up where it was that late in filing.
Can I ask a really quick question on, because people do ask me, this 37.5 that affects town taxes, does it affect their school taxes and their county taxes as well?
Yes, this is specifically only to the senior citizens
Right.
exemption.
So you're 65 plus.
Right, so this is applicable to their town, their county, and their school bills. This is an exemption that is available on a sliding scale depending on their income, anywhere from 5 to 50% off.
Okay, and this really allows a lot of our seniors to stay in their house, who don't have the wherewithal.
Right, well, before the STAR
financially.
exemption was enacted in 1997, this was the only
Right.
senior citizens exemption available. And now we have,
Right.
hundreds and hundreds more under the enhanced STAR exemption, but this is specifically to the senior citizens exemption only. Bob, you had a question?
Yep.
So to justify the income, would they bring in that year tax returns or the year before?
Generally speaking, the seniors receiving the senior citizens exemption, it's their most recent current income. And they, because most of them don't file, they bring us all their year-end statements, like their 1099s from Social Security, any other interest. Right, any
Because I was
other,
gonna say, you don't have to file your taxes until April 15th, but you have to come to you before
Yes.
March 1st. So
correct, that's correct. But they get all those statements in January, by the latest, maybe.
So they just come
week
and
in
give you
February.
all the statements, they don't give you actually the tax returns?
No, we make a lot of copies in my office. That's true.
And does anyone verify, it wouldn't be you, but,
Julie's not qualified.
is there, let's say somebody doesn't show that they,
Have unearned
get
income.
$2,000 a week from the lottery or something.
Oh, as far as my senior citizens go, now, what they bring us, we have
Right. But you'd have no
historical.
way to know.
No, like if they won the lottery and,
Right.
no, we wouldn't know it.
I wonder-
Well, but then they'd have to file a tax return in all
Right.
likelihood, because then their income would be such that they'd have to report it.
I wonder if the state tax computers jive or somehow with these, with your real
That's
real
more along the
property.
lines of the enhanced STAR exemption. The state is now automating that, so any new applications for basic or enhanced STAR, the state is saying, you know what, file with us, we'll verify it because you file a tax return. This is more towards the senior citizens that are on a limited income. It's based on their total income, not their taxable. Enhanced is based on their federally adjusted gross. So again, there's a smaller amount of people than the enhanced are. And that's all this is geared toward, just the senior citizens exemption.
So the recommendation to this board would be to do it or
I'm
to wait?
not making a recommendation. That's why I emailed you and I put it before you because it's out there. It's relatively a new amendment that's been proposed. I thought you should be aware of it. I wanted to give you all of the background, and then you can make your own decisions.
Do we have to take action one way or the other, or?
Yes, you would have to adopt it.
No, but I mean,
So if we
You'd have to
didn't
adopt
take
the
action,
amendment to the current exemption.
so if we took no action, it would stand as is.
Correct.
okay.
That's correct.
I just.
That's correct, yes. It doesn't warrant a vote. If
Unless
you want
we're
to just talk
changing.
about it and amongst yourselves, say, "Pfft, never mind, we're done with this. That's fine. But if you wanted to enact it, you would have to pass a resolution adopting it, right?
Got to pass a local law.
Local law, sorry,
A local
my
law.
mistake. Amending the existing legislation that we have, a law that we have on the books.
Okay, we'll take it under consideration.
Okay,
Thank you.
you are.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori.
Okay. Make a motion now to move into the regular portion of the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Waive the reading of the correspondence. Approval of the voucher list, $1,214,613.20. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Setting of meeting dates and public hearings. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Thursday, December 1st, 2016. Thursday, December 22nd, 2016. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
4, budget transfers. Waive the reading of that. Resolution amending Chapter 83, Historic Sites and Districts, which we just had a public hearing on. No one spoke against. All in favor of it. So we're going to,
I just want to say, I'll be abstaining from this because,
wait till I get to the,
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
let's just read and get it on the record.
All right,
then
yes,
abstain.
read it. Go ahead.
Okay. Now therefore be resolved, the town of Board, town of Southeast hereby adopts local law number 8 of 2016 pursuant to municipal home rule amending section 83-3B of the town code to delist premises known as tax map number 57.5-3-28, also known as the Triangle House located at 512 Teneta Lake Road, as a local historic site. And be further resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the code book of the town of Southeast, and give due notice to the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State, New York, within time required by law. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. Now you can speak.
Okay. I'm very grateful that this is on. I had spoken to Bob about it, and he very nicely, and I don't know what his vote will be, thought it was appropriate if there was no negative comment. But since I feel strongly that we shouldn't vote the same night, I don't want to vote on things, I don't want to pick and choose what I vote on the same night. I don't think it's fair to say, oh, I like this, I don't like that. So I'll just be abstaining on this, but it was nice of everyone, I thought, to put it on the agenda.
Nope. Hope next year you have a pick and choose variety.
So,
Okay.
Unless I know I have voted on things, but usually that's because it's very time sensitive. I know
It's allowed in the rules.
I know, and Helen Evers, I know, is grateful on this, but she does understand if it has to be put off. So she,
Okay.
I do know her personally.
It was not put off, it was put on, so
Right.
we're ready to
Okay.
go. Any other comment from the board?
I believe, I probably asked that it be put on because, and I won't be abstaining, and in fact, after what I just heard, I will be voting positively for this. I understand why you're saying what you're saying, Lynn. I don't know if that's and of course, I'm not questioning it as a proper ground to abstain, but at this point in time, I don't really think that it's a picking and choosing thing. I think that we're following what the local law says in terms of if there's nobody who has spoken negatively, and so therefore I'll be voting for it. I think sometimes there could be too much adherence to form over substance.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
One abstention?
Yep, please. Thank
For the
you.
reasons stated previously.
Yep.
Number 6, settlement of the certiorari proceedings, Savetta Gaddy. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment and order, and/or order of consent in accordance with said recommendation for the following. Petitioner Savetta Gaddy, tax ID 35.-2-1, year 2016, assessment $1,847,000, settlement $1,050,000. And be it further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And the final item on the agenda for this evening is the supervisor's financial report. There's basically no change in the reporting basically since June. We do have a problem with the outside council line continually. Things have slowed down to a trickle. I'm only using a tourniquet to stop the bleeding at this point in time, so that's working pretty well. And of course, the other is because of those, our outside contractor, Nathan Jacobs, I'm getting it backwards. His billing has, of course, increased because he has to provide the information for much of which we're fighting about in courts with individuals. But other than that, things are good. The revenues this year are better. All the town departments are pretty much adhering, except maybe one that's not, but all the town departments are doing a really good job in holding the line. They know how cheap I am, so when they call me, they know better than to ask for something more than the $100. That's the minimum to get approval. No, but in all honesty, ever since we put this into place, things are working well. So, Lynn, I know you always spoke out. I came to meetings for a year before I took this position, and every month you ask the same question. And fortunately for us, you're here, and you don't have to ask the question because you're part of it. And not only that, there's the discrepancies before of what it was and what it is today are not even close.
Right.
Tight ship is running and still floating. Okay. Recognition of the public. Recognition of town board.
I'd just like to say, everyone, have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Looking forward to the Christmas holidays. So enjoy.
And I made a comment last week or last meeting about the leaves. Don't put your leaves out into the road so they get in the catch basins. And if we get our first snowfall, when it snows, don't plow your snow into any state, county, or town road, and I'll speak for the village as well. Don't plow it into the road. Keep it to the side of the road, and if your snow plower does push the snow across the road, ask them to clean up the debris he leaves in the road, because it is a serious. And just, town clerk has asked me to announce that somehow these scammers are getting better and better and better. So do you want me to, you want to speak to it, or you want me just to
No, you could.
paraphrase it? She's shy, I'm not, no. Okay, here's what's happening. A gentleman received a phone call last week, or maybe earlier this week, that it was from supposedly the town clerk's phone. Now, how these scammers can call someone and use someone else's phone number, we don't know how they're doing it. The individual lives in Westchester County. The event took place here, of course, in Putnam County, and the Sheriff's Department and State Police, they can't really act upon it. And Michelle tried to. So here's the bottom line. They made a phone call to this individual that he owes money, I don't know, it was from a court or whatever, he owes money. And of course, they're trying to solicit from these individuals their credit card numbers and whatever information they can scam from them. And it's getting really serious, because if they can make a phone call, I think pretty soon what they're going to be doing next is they're going to get her voice or my voice, and you're going to really think it's us when we call. So from now on, if you ever get a phone call and you don't think it's legit, we're not going to call you and tell you we're going to come and arrest you for not paying your taxes. We don't do that. Or from the courts. It just doesn't happen. So the phone number met the town clerks. Fortunately, she knew who that person was, okay? And he called, and he says, so it happened twice. He really thought it was a scam, but then when he saw it coming from the town of Southeast, and a person he knew, but fortunately for us, he knew who to call. The average person would not have. So please be careful. If you get any kind of a phone call asking for any kind of information, you get it from a town phone number, call the town. We don't mind answering that phone call and telling you, yes, we did call, but I'm telling you right now, that's not the type of a phone call you're gonna get from a governmental agency. I don't believe that would ever happen. So if you get a phone call and it's questionable, call the number and verify. Call us to town. Don't give out any information to anybody until you know that it's a secure source.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily call back the number that's
No.
there. Get
Well, no,
the-
it was her number.
No, but what I mean is I would call the general number for the town.
Yes.
So, and I just spoke to Michelle, she said it is going to be on the website, what we just, what Tony just outlined. So, yeah, anyone that you know that may not watch these shows, tell them to please look at the website.
I know people also, they do that with the IRS. They say that they're with the IRS and you owe us $4,000 and there's gonna be a warrant for your arrest, but if you give us your credit card number now, we'll take care of it or whatever. So the government doesn't call and ask for your credit card information, so.
But the weird thing, the bad thing about what's going on now
They're
is they're
spinning the number,
using
yeah.
our
The right numbers.
phone number.
Yeah.
So when they look in the phone book, it's a legitimate phone number. But this person happened to know the town clerk and spoke to the town clerk. The average person out there said, oh, it's the town hall, and, maybe get nervous and start doing something. So if you get a call like that, call the town or whoever it is, if it's a county or whatever, make the phone call first. Just don't give up your money or information so readily.
Yeah, the other day, a couple of days ago, around 6:30 at night, I received a call from someone who said that something is with my computer, and they started to ask me questions about my computer. It took me about 5 seconds to say to that person, oh, I know these calls. Can you hold on a second, because I'm going to conference call in the sheriff's department and the state troopers. And that phone was hung up very quickly.
Okay. Yes.
Two things. I attended the county legislature meeting, and the cell tower proposed for the town of Southeast was mentioned. I have asked again for them to come for a presentation. The height of our towers is 125 feet. This is proposed near the Kern Building, which is the building where it's the county building on Milan Avenue. Anyhow, I've asked again for a presentation. One, Tony, you had scheduled, I think, in September.
September, they were due to be
Right.
here. I reminded them the day before the meeting, but they were no-show.
Right. And in general, anyhow, this is proposed at 180 feet plus a 10% whip on top. They are supposed to give us a presentation so that people in Southeast will know more about the proposed cell tower. And as library liaison, I went to their meeting prior to this meeting tonight, and it seems that they will be going forward with the possibility of an addition, and they'll be in touch with us later in the year about that, so.
Don't make it too late in the year next year. Make it
No, they'd like
March
to
or
come
April.
even
I
in
think March
March.
or April, they should make an appearance here.
They'd like to do a full, they would like to do a full presentation. They also think it's very important, as I do, so the facts are really out of what it is going to cost as far as what the additional cost will be compared to what the cost is now. So they were very transparent about it, which was great, and they'd like everyone on the town board to visit it, to call first, and so they can give you a tour and hopefully show you what they'd like to do. So they were very forthcoming, and I thought it was a good meeting. And we'll, as I said, I think it's best if everybody knows exactly what's going on, so.
Are they still looking for board of trustees? I thought I saw that they're short.
We have to reappoint and appoint, Peggy Bruin was just appointed to
But they
the
have to
board.
notify me of that.
Yes.
But Mr. Carey is scheduled for reappointment at our next meeting, and the other
Blazer.
gentleman,
Laser.
And I think somebody resigned too.
Yes, Britt
yes.
Voss
But
did.
that's
So-
where this other woman's gonna
Right.
replace it.
So,
Our next meeting will have the three
Yes.
candidates.
that we can approve. So that's it from the library, and as I said, hopefully we'll have a presentation soon on the cell tower, because it's moving ahead now really quite quickly.
On behalf of
And
the town, would you please contact them and just make us aware of the other appointees so we can do it at the next meeting?
Yeah.
I knew the other two, and I was waiting for that third
Okay.
person.
It is
so
Peggy Bruin, but I'll double
Double
check
check with them,
and get the full name.
and if she's replacing someone, who's she replacing?
Okay,
Because it filled the unexpired term of another candidate that was on there.
okay, all right.
And
happy
I
Thanksgiving.
believe we may have a position open on the planning board soon.
That's right.
So we're gonna start and advertise for that position. People could submit resumes, position on the planning board. Mr. Yonke was elected to the position of county legislator, and will be leaving that position.
Right.
Can't serve two masters, unfortunately or fortunately.
Nope, so, and we have possible reappointments too coming up?
Yeah, but that's next year.
Not till January,
Yeah.
okay.
We got all the names, reappointments.
Okay.
We just have one opening at this point in
Right.
time to let the public aware of it.
So,
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion.
I'd just like to
Happy
mention,
Thanksgiving.
well, on a positive note, happy Thanksgiving for everyone for next Thursday. And on a sad note, I'd just like to mention the passing of the Under Sheriff Pete Convery, who served Putnam County since 2002, I believe. I knew him a little bit from Westchester. He was a correction officer down there when I was a police officer, but he died suddenly Tuesday morning. So just like to wish his family the best and pass on sympathies.
Thank you.
it's really sad.
A motion by,
I'll make a motion to close tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
coming.